You begin with a fascination for aircraft, but quickly learn that air traffic control is not about watching planes. It is about making hundreds of precise decisions while carrying responsibility for lives you will never meet. The application process is demanding, testing concentration, spatial awareness, memory, and decision making under pressure. Many capable applicants are rejected because the role requires a very specific way of thinking. After passing the initial assessments, you arrive at a fictional UK training center for your first day. The room is full of confident recruits, but everyone knows that only consistent performance will carry them through. Your early lessons focus on airspace structure, aviation law, weather, aircraft performance, and strict communication procedures. Every phrase has a purpose, and even a small ambiguity can create unnecessary risk. You spend hours learning standard phraseology until it becomes automatic. Controllers must speak clearly, calmly, and efficiently, even when the situation around them is moving quickly. The radar simulator is where the theory begins to feel real. Aircraft symbols move across the screen, and you must build a three-dimensional picture of traffic using only limited information. At first, even a small number of aircraft feels overwhelming. You hesitate, issue instructions too slowly, and watch your carefully planned sequence begin to collapse. An instructor pauses the simulation and explains that control is built on anticipation, not reaction. You must think several minutes ahead and recognize conflicts before they become urgent. You return to the simulator and begin learning how to separate aircraft by altitude, distance, and direction. Every clearance must fit into a wider plan that other controllers can understand. Some exercises end with the screen covered in warnings and your confidence badly shaken. Training's designed to expose weaknesses early because real aircraft cannot be reset when a mistake is made. You learn to accept direct feedback without becoming defensive. In air traffic control, protecting your ego is far less important than identifying exactly why a decision failed. Gradually, your scan becomes faster and your instructions become more decisive. You begin to recognize traffic patterns that once looked like random movement. You then move into tower training, where the job becomes visually immediate. From the control tower, you coordinate aircraft, vehicles, and people moving across a complex airfield. Runway safety becomes one of your biggest responsibilities. A single vehicle entering the wrong area or an aircraft misunderstanding a clearance can create a serious situation within seconds. You practice handling departures during a busy morning rush. Aircraft are waiting, crews are calling, and the pressure to keep traffic moving must never override safe spacing. Weather adds another layer of difficulty. Strong winds, low cloud, thunderstorms, and poor visibility can disrupt the most carefully planned sequence. During simulator training, fog reduces the runway to a few faint lights. You must rely on procedures, surface radar, and precise coordination rather than what you can see. Eventually, you begin supervised live training with real traffic. An experienced controller sits beside you, ready to intervene if your judgment starts to drift. Your first live transmission feels far more serious than anything in the simulator. A real pilot reads back your instruction, and you realize that your words are now changing the path of an actual aircraft. At first, your mentor handles the busiest moments. Over time, you're given more traffic, more complex situations, and less assistance. Every session is followed by a detailed debrief. You review unclear transmissions, delayed decisions, and moments where a better plan could have reduced workload. After months of training, you face your validation assessment. Examiners watch closely as traffic builds, weather changes, and several problems appear at once. You pass, but the qualification does not make the job easy. It simply means you are trusted to manage a defined position without constant supervision. Your first independent shifts are mentally exhausting. Even after leaving the operations room, aircraft routes and radio calls continue replaying in your head. A normal day can involve constant coordination between tower, approach, area control, and neighboring sectors. Safe traffic flow depends on controllers sharing information accurately and at the right time. During peak periods, the radar screen becomes crowded with arrivals, departures, and aircraft crossing through your airspace. You must create order without making pilots fly unnecessary miles. You issue headings, altitudes, and speeds to build a safe arrival sequence. The best control often looks uneventful because every potential conflict has already been removed. Then an aircraft reports a technical problem and requests priority handling. Your workload changes instantly as you protect space around it and coordinate with the airport and emergency services. You remain calm on the radio while quietly considering several possible outcomes. The crew needs clear options, not the controller's fear. The aircraft lands safely and the frequency returns to normal, almost immediately. There's little time to process what happened because other flights still require your full attention. Not every difficult situation is dramatic. A blocked frequency, a misunderstood call sign, or an aircraft drifting from its cleared level can demand rapid intervention. Fatigue is treated as a safety issue, not a sign of weakness. Controllers work structured breaks because sustained concentration declines long before a person feels completely exhausted. On a night shift, the airspace may appear quieter, but reduced staffing, maintenance activity, and tired crews create different risks. You must resist the temptation to relax simply because fewer aircraft are visible. You also learn how much the job depends on trust between colleagues. When one controller becomes overloaded, the team must recognize it early and provide support without hesitation. Sometimes you have to slow the traffic flow or hold aircraft on the ground. Airlines and passengers may be frustrated, but capacity must never be increased beyond what the system can safely manage. Years of experience sharpen your judgment, yet complacency becomes a new danger. Familiar situations can still change quickly, so experienced controllers continue checking, questioning, and planning. You begin mentoring trainees and hear the same uncertainty you once carried. Teaching forces you to explain decisions that have become instinctive through repetition. A trainee makes a poor decision in the simulator and becomes visibly discouraged. You remind them that safe controllers are not people who never make mistakes, but people who learn before those mistakes reach live operations. Promotion may lead to supervisory duties, complex sectors, or specialist safety roles. The work becomes less about proving your own skill and more about maintaining the performance of an entire team. You take part in incident reviews where recordings, radar data, and procedures are examined without drama. The objective is to understand how the system can be strengthened, not simply to find someone to blame. Outside work, the shift pattern can affect weekends, family events, and sleep. The responsibility does not end when the headset comes off, because recovery is part of remaining safe for the next shift. There are days when you leave proud of a perfectly managed traffic rush. There are also days when a single awkward moment stays with you far longer than the hundreds of decisions you handled correctly. As your career continues, technology changes the displays, tools, and procedures around you. Yet the core responsibility remains human judgment under pressure. Eventually, you understand that most passengers will never think about the controller who guided their aircraft. That anonymity is part of the profession because success is measured by safe journeys and ordinary arrivals. At the end of a long career, the operations room carries on without you. The radar screens continue glowing, new controllers take their positions, and the quiet responsibility is passed to the next generation.